you, Ultima? What do you want?
Your soul is tainted with worthless human will, yet your thirst for power remains undiminished. With every sip you take, you grow in strength, and soon you shall achieve perfection.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You will accept us, Mythos. It is inevitable. You were created for this purpose, and you shall serve it.
Never!
Fight it, Clive! Don't let him in!
Consciousness. We see now. Human will is so insubstantial it cannot exist in isolation. You mitigate its weakness by interweaving it with your consciousness. We believed we had merely to purge you of your will to claim our vessel. It appears we first have to sever every thread of the consciousness that supports it. No matter. The time to build a new world is not yet upon us. We will contemplate.
Thank you, Joshua.
One can no more command the power of ether by drowning in its flood than one can constrain the tides by standing in the sea. I had thought Hugo wiser than this, but it seems his head was full of rocks after all.
Titan was strong.
Your Majesty.
But Mythos is stronger. For 5 years, that man lived only for revenge. Clinging fast to a fiction, even as it swept him into the abyss. One cannot change one's nature through force of will alone. Only the Almighty can do that.
Hugo Kupka, the man who gave his life for a woman's head. A fool like all the rest.
That the death of a mother crystal should be so beautiful.
Some medicine, my lord? I have salves, potions, anything you need.
Stop bothering me, urchin, or you'll feel the back of my hand.
You must consider your health, my prince. If a show of force is needed to keep the Dalmex at bay, you may trust in your dragoons. I beg you to call on Bahamut only as a last resort. His strength comes at too great a cost.
The Empire agreed to an armistice with the Republic, and yet the Emperor still plots its ruin. For now, the Dalmex suspect nothing, and as long as I can hold their gaze, war need not be inevitable. But more than that, Bahamut is the champion of the Empire. When our people look to the heavens, the sight of him gives them hope. Forgive me, Terence. Would that you were my master. But alas.
I will always be your loyal servant.
Should the Council's brazen maneuvering prompt the Republic to tear up their own treaty and launch a new assault, our soldiers would advance to meet them, cutting across the Central Isles, but not in time to prevent their forces from breaching the southern defenses and storming Twinside. And so the capital would become a battlefield. Thousands of innocents would die. I cannot allow that to happen.
There is one small mercy, at least. You will not be forced to do battle with Titan.
Would that I could avoid doing battle at all.
1,000 pardons, Your Highness.
What is it?
Olivier has been made Emperor. What is the meaning of this? My father's orders. What were they? Quickly!
Yes, Your Highness. His Radiance requests that Your Highness maintain position here and...
Ah! Terence.
Yes, my prince.
I must go to the palace.
I'll ready your steed.
What is it now?
Forgive the intrusion, Your Highness.
I know you.
At ease.
We stand in the presence of the Phoenix. You wouldn't want to get your fingers burned.
I hope I'm not interrupting.
Not at all. Though I admit, I did not expect such a distinguished guest.
How many years has it been since the Remembrance Ceremony? 20?
I thought you long dead. Do I address a ghost?
Many have told me that I look like one. But no. I'm alive. Just. Prince Dion of the House Lesage, I have a tale to tell you.
better give Otto the good news.
What ways need
Welcome home,
patching up?
Sid.
Clive, you're back. I am. And with glad tidings for once. Hugo Kupka is no more. Well, I'll be. All of our comrades who lost their lives back at Sid's place be smiling down at you right now.
We had a stolus from Lubor saying Drake's fang had fallen. I expect that was your doing as well, was it?
It's a long story.
One for the history books, I'll bet.
Welcome home, Clive.
It's good to be back. You look better.
I feel it. Which means I'm coming on your next little adventure. You're not leaving me behind again.
Wouldn't dream of it. Otto. Any word on the Royalist movements since I've been away? Shouldn't you be putting your feet up? If you really want to know, go and have a word with Vivian. Thank you. I will.
Ah, the conquering hero returns. And with hardly a scratch on him.
I may have picked up one or two.
Well, the fact that you came straight to me instead of visiting our resident physiker suggests that you picked up something more important. A scent. The scent of Waludas.
The very same. But whatever plans Kupka was hatching with the Royalists, he took them to his grave. As did his men. Slaughtered by the orcs who'd taken over the Fang. Orcs, Vivian. I've never seen such creatures in Storm before. The Waludas must have ferried them over from Ash, but why? Why work to rescue Kupka only to invade his home, the mother crystal of an allied nation, and let both fall? It makes no sense.
Do you know the tale of the blind men and the Adamantus? One can often be led astray by focusing too closely on individual details. One must instead see the bigger picture. And what bigger picture is there than my map? The Kingdom of Waloed claims dominion over all of Ash. It is a nation forged by the bloody conquest of Barnabas Tharm, the dominant of Odin. The Canvarian War of Independence in 849. The Battle of the Twin Realms in 865. The Battle of Belinus Tor in 873. Wheresoever his armies fought, Odin was found where the fighting was fiercest. But of late, the warrior king appears to have laid his sword to rest. Battle rages for control of the crystalline dominion. Yet Tharm sends not a single ship in support of his Dhalmekian allies. Meanwhile, the Blight ravages great swathes of Ash. Yet warlike Waloed shows not the faintest interest in laying claim to untouched lands. So why go to the trouble of sending an army of orcs into the heart of Drake's Fang, only to make no attempt to claim the Mother Crystal for Waloed? It can hardly be for lack of men. Tharm's armies rival any in the Twins. No. We have not seen the last of the Waluda standard. Odin will ride again. It is but a question of when. And on that day, who will be trampled underfoot? In summary, I know not to what end the Royalist betrayed Kupka. I know only that it is part of some broader scheme. A scheme tied to the ambitions of one man.
King Barnabas.
But there is no need to wallow in confusion. If one is to cure a sickness, one must first identify the symptoms. And your Lord Uncle has volunteered to do just that by keeping an eye on the Royalists' movements.
He's really throwing himself into this.
Indeed he is. Which means all that remains for us to do is await his reports. Well, not quite all in your case. The people of the Hideaway must hear the news. Justice has been done. Hugo Kupka is dead. The wounds he left that night are still raw, especially for those who lived with Sid the longest. Tell them that those wounds might finally begin to heal. Consider it the price of today's instruction.
I've never known you to be sentimental.
What can I say? I am only human. And we are, all of us, sentimental animals at heart.
I suppose we are. Very well. I'll go and spread the word.
Ah, Clive. Have you come seeking...
No.
He is the big baby.
And with good reason, children. These are tears of joy. We must offer up a prayer to your parents that the heavens might weep with us. There shall be no lessons today, only thanksgiving and merrymaking. Go.
All right, brilliant.
Finally.
It has.
Thank you, Clive. I cannot...
Hippocrates. After Coop, I need to know what he is.
Alas. No. And not for want of trying. I have scoured nigh every historical tome in our collection and not even the sort of conspicuous absence that might suggest a concealment of fact. One is almost tempted to conclude that such a creature...
But I saw him.
I don't doubt that you did. Alas, it seems you are the only. To others, he reveals naught. We see only that which he leaves in his wake, like some terrible force of nature beyond the ken of mortal man.
A bringer of death.
Whether the Ultima you met with was the being itself, or merely another projection of its power, but until I do, mine.
Thank you.
Thanks to
The
Sid,
nobleman who
the
visited.
man who hurt your mother was...
Well, someone looks pleased with himself.
Nothing escapes you, it's true.
Good. I'm starting to get a crick in my neck.
Blackthorn.
What is it?
I wanted it.
Under a new set.
I'll try to live up to the net. Right. Let's see if Otto has anything else for me.
What do you need? What do you want? And how am I meant to do that then? Don't waste my time. You ain't got the stuff. No scratches, all right? Don't waste my time. You ain't got the stuff. Bring me the materials, and I'll think about it.
He cracked the crystal too? You're joking.
It's no joke. Drake's Fang is gone. There's nothing left but a crater.
I'm telling you, it's true. I heard it from Otto's own lips.
You barely sat down since you came home. Vivian got you running errands or something?
Just spreading the word.
So, the Professor's got a soft side, has she? I'd never have guessed.
No. She was right, though. Everyone was glad to hear the news.
Ah, but you ain't told everyone. I can think of plenty of friends back at the old hideaway who'd sleep more peacefully for knowing. Not least of all Sid. You should tell him.
You're right. I should. And I will.
Well, when you do, be sure to take Mid with you. She's been going at it hammer and tong down in that workshop of hers, trying to do her father proud. I can't remember the last time she visited the old sod's grave.
Very well. I'll suggest it.
I think Mid might need some help tidying up.
If I don't come up with something soon. All right, Clive?
I'm going to visit Sid, and I thought you might like...
Sorry, I'm too busy for all. I've got to get this thermal displacement stack sorted.
So... and...
Only the fastest, finest ship the world has ever seen. Me and my dad designed it together. Where other vessels rely on the fickle winds to drive them through the water, ours is fitted with mithril engines. And those things have got more push than a behemoth in a bad mood, and more heat than all the hells put together, which is where I may have already talked some tight-lipped shipwrights into putting the hull together for me in a little dockyard, but the stack's a bit more involved, so the thing is, it's so involved that I'm running behind and it's starting to hold things up over at the ship. I'll come and see my dad, though, when I'm done. Good old Clive. First things first, the stack will be made up of 3 major... There's the plating, here, that channels hot vapors away from the engine. The helm over the top, that disperses all that heat into the air. And the shielding around the sides, that stops the rest of the ship from going up in flames.
full suit of armor then. Probably best to take it one piece at a time.
Then you'll need to start with the plating. Everything else, I've got the designs and the list of materials. Show these to Blackthorn.
Well, I can't make head nor tail of them.
Luckily,
Hell with it.
It's for me.
This my last chance to say I'm otherwise engaged. Go on then.
She said you would know.
Krieger's teeth. Well, I don't know what the hell you'd want this for, but I can make it. And I'll need help. Get Gavin in here, will you?
All right.
So Mid's roped us all in here again, has she? Typical. Still, if that's what it takes to get her to visit Sid's grave, I'll do what I can.
And, what is it we need to do?
Take a look at this. It's this plating. The usual sword grade steel won't work. We need something that can get very hot, very fast, and still keep its shape. That means an alloy. Something that won't break or buckle at a temp, which is where you lot come in. I need materials, and I've got my work cut out already. You'll have to fetch them. Now, there's a special kind of sand I'm after that you can only find out in the Valcroy. Stardust, they call it. As for the rest of the stuff, my usual supply should have it in stock. It just needs buying and bringing.
Well, we'll get it done quicker if we split. One of us should probably give you an hand collecting the sand.
And the other can go and get the rest from this supply.
Right then.
Well, make your minds up who's going where, we can get this over with. Going after the Stardust, which one?
Gav, you're with me.
All right, then. So, where do we find...
There's a river that runs through the southern reaches of the Valcroy. It's the black sand that washes up on its banks that you're after.
Southern reaches of the Valcroy, eh? That's down past... I'll go and scout the place out. See about hiring us a wagon to...
All right.
While you're off having a paddle, I'll pick up the rest of the stuff from Blackthorn's.
You two, eh?
Flees me.
Looks like I found the river. Now where's Gav? Sorry to keep you.
Better late. I've had a quick scout about, and I reckon round here's our best bet if we want to grab as much of this stuff. Don't know what Blackthorn's planning to do with it, though. I asked over in Dalamil, and they seem to think it was... But if Stardust is what Blackthorn wants, Stardust is what he'll get. There's plenty of the stuff lying about just begging to be...
Then let's get bagging, shall we?
We shall.
So this is stardust. It just looks like black sand to me. That should be enough for now. Let's see how Gav's getting on.
You finished? How much did you get?
Enough.
Ah, that might even be enough for all Black. Here, before we go. Feels like ages since we had the chance to talk. You know, man to man like.
It does, doesn't it?
Back when you first took Sid's name, we were talking all the time. Working out what to do in that.
There was a lot to work out.
And there still is. Those shoulders of yours starting to feel the strain. Hardly ever see you around the hideaway nowadays. Always on some errand. You can take a day off, you know.
Says the man who spends most of his time behind enemy lines.
Only 'cause you keep sending me there.
I know I can count on you, Gav.
Likewise. So you keep sending me wherever you need to, and I'll keep going. Safe in the knowledge that I have a home to come back to. Thanks to you. Right. That's enough soppy shite for one day. We'd better get this lot back to Blackthorn before...
You go on ahead.
Oh, after Black...
Right. Ready to go home, boy? Let's hope this is all Blackthorn needs. Blackthorn.
Yeah. Cheers for the stardust. Should be enough to be getting on.
We should go out on maneuvers to... or beat sneaking around on you.
I'll make a start on putting this thermal plating together. It will take some time, mind. So if you've got other things to be getting on with, I could do without you breathing down.
Thank you, Blackthorn. I'll let Midnight...
Suppose we'd better be getting back to work too.
Give us a shout if you need it.
He cracked the crystal too? You're joking.
I went up to give some breeze to the chocobo.
Mid hasn't been
Editors started reading books that don't have any pictures.
I think Mid might need some help.
If I don't come up with something soon.
You'll be pleased to hear that
Excellent.
So,
The helm, of course. For this, we'll be repurposing for...
salvage from the ruins. I thought that material was all but impossible to work.
Ah, but we don't have to.
I'm sorry.
Just so happens there's one particular ruin that's broken into exactly the right shape and size pieces for what we need. What's the name back there? I'll give you all the details.
What's her name?
Oh, Sid, is this about the helm?
Yes. Mid said I should speak with you.
I'll show you the plans then. Here you see the mithril engine, in which mithril is burned to generate heat. That heat is then harnessed to produce motive force. Excess heat is dealt with by means of the thermal displacement stack, which disperses it into... Now, were we to rely on thermal plating alone to achieve this effect, the rate of excess heat buildup would far exceed the displacement coefficient of the... In other words, the reactor would overheat, and this is where the helm comes in. It connects to the plating, you see. Our experiments have shown that... And not only that, they're also waterproof and immune to rust, making them the perfect material for our protective hood. Why? If sea or rainwater were to enter the reactor proper, it would vaporize instantly. The forces produced would tear the ship from stern to...
You can stop there. I understand. Mid said we might be able to use parts of a fallen ruin. Where would I find it?
Ah, yes. It's in Lorbert's Pass, near Lostwing. The thing is, well, It's no longer a matter of just walking in and taking them. It's,
I see. Then I suppose would that help?
Oh, I'll gather my team and head there right away. Oh, there you are, Sid. Thanks so much for coming. The, ruins are just over there, as is the creature I told you about, I'd imagine. Would you mind?
Of course. Anybody home? This must be our unwanted visitor. Time to go.
Get him!
The things I do for you, Mid.
Sid! Oh, thank goodness you're safe.
You shouldn't have any trouble now.
Indeed. Well, don't let us...
All right.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you back so soon. You earned this. Here you are. All done?
I think Mid might need some help.
If I don't come up with something soon.
Mid. Helen.
Excellent.
And just...
Right.
How's that?
The plating's enough to stop the engines going pop. But those things will still be spitting out enough fire, which is why you need a prism for the drag. I thought a triple thick layer of tempered steel might do it. The helm and the plating are bulky enough as it is. I need something light.
Well, if I were in... I know whose counsel I...
Tomes, I've got all the Can you take this?
Right away. Harpocrates.
For you, Clive?
Well, actually, it's for me. Could you take a look at this?
Shielding for a mithril engine. Whatever will that girl think of next?
She has some specific requirements for the material, and yet remain cool enough on the outside, as you can imagine.
I see.
I wondered if you might know of a solution.
Perhaps. It is not a different...
What do you mean?
Consider the lake we have made our home. Its blighted waters eat away far more quickly than fresh water or even brine. And yet, we have made a home here from those very materials.
We have, but Bardolph must varnish every board twice over to keep it from rotting. And Obelisk complains that without a constant supply of... pitch. I see.
Early Gregorian histories speak of a preparation known before the dragoons tamed the worms and wyverns of the realm. Nobles would daub their castle walls with it in order to guard against.
So if we could
it might be applied to some material or other in order to provide the protection Mid requires. As to how best to apply it and to what material, perhaps I shall speak to them and see if you, the knowledge of the...
Thank you, Hop. And since you...
So you need a hand?
I'll be heading to market for the ingredients we need.
The other can assist.
Can we count on your aid?
Always. Well...
Thank you.
I am sure either of these fine young minds would prove indispensable in my research. So, Clive, who will accompany...
Very well. So then...
I have taken the liberty of preparing...
White chocobo egg. Are you sure this list is right? I would have thought the ingredients would...
Though these items may seem so much so in fact now, of course.
Is that so? I've been meaning to visit Northreach.
I will.
You two enjoy yourself.
You too, Talia. Now, where's Jill?
There's talk at the glass game.
Welcome, welcome. That's the best I can do. And a fine, fine day to you.
Keep them pilchards nice and chilled. I'm all right.
Are those Pepio nuts?
How goes the humpering?
I'm sure everything we need is somewhere. Why don't we split up and see?
All right.
How about I'll find the other...
Up! You'll not find a bruised pippin. Fresh cuts! Come and get them before... What can I interest you in today? I hope it's to your liking. Good day. How the hell is anyone...
What do you want? If that's what you want.
That's everything. Let's see how Jill's getting on.
Did you find...
I did.
Garlic and Pepio nuts. Perfect. Now, all that remains is for Harpocrates to somehow turn all this into what Mid needs to keep her engine cool. But before we head back, would you walk with me a while?